Assalamualaikum, good morning. It's a lovely Tuesday morning, and of course, on iRadio OUM, if you've taken a look at our website, you know that this morning we have a very special guest with us in the studios. We have with us in the studios Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Mansor Fadzil, our Senior Vice President for Open University Malaysia. Prof, welcome to iRadio OUM. It's been a while since you last been here.
Yeah, thank you, Umi. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure to appear on iRadio again today.
So, Prof is here to share, well, some new semester message instead of a New Year's message. Okay. Now, of course, Prof, let's get straight to our questions for today.
Yep, please.
Okay. Now, of course, Prof, although it's the start of a new semester, the May semester, the first tutorial will take place this weekend. Yeah. I'm sure that many students are still a little bit stuck on something that happened last semester, namely their final exams, their final examinations. Maybe, Prof, you can share some of the basic updates of their exams, Prof?
Thank you, Umi. Basically, for the May semester, we have for the January semester, right? We have exam period for almost 1 month, the whole of April. We have collected all the script, and we are now distributing those script to be graded by the subject matter expert. And those involving MCQ, of course, making use of the machine to grade the answer sheet. And I think this time round, our turnaround will be the same as the previous semester. We're talking about between 4 to 6 weeks. The simple reason being there are too many script, more than 100,000 script altogether. And I just would like to remind our learners as well that almost every semester we come across a student who have been caught cheating and so on. But the number is getting less and less, and only a very small percentage. We're talking about 0.01%. Nevertheless, I would like all the listeners to be aware that the university takes these cheating cases very seriously. If we are caught, then the punishment can be very severe indeed. Okay, and also we do come across cases of plagiarism, and in this respect, I would like to call upon the tutors, the learners, to make sure that we uphold the academic integrity. In particular, we should only present our own works when it comes to assignment, lab, and so on, because as a university, we must make sure that the academic integrity is maintained at all time.
But of course, if you have personal integrity, then academic integrity will come along with it.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Prof, OUM, we are only as strong as our learners. Okay, and of course, it's with great pleasure that we welcome back our seniors to the new semesters. Okay, and on top of that, we also have new members or new addition to our OUM family. Your take, Prof?
Okay, basically we have we practice a 3-semester system in a year. We have 3 intakes, basically January, May, and September intake. I'm pleased to share with all the listeners that for the coming intake, May semester, we have more than 2,000 students, 2,000 new learners, and I hope the seniors will welcome these new learners, will share their tips on how to be a successful ODL learners. I also would like to welcome back our senior students who will be in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th semesters and so on. And I think the commitment and dedication is crucial in order to be successful in an ODL, what I call Mohd. And as senior learners, you are strongly encouraged to come back, re-register with us for subsequent semester. And of course, if you have financial problem, you have a time management problem, you can register less than 3 courses, maybe 1, maybe 2 courses. But whatever it is, we at the university are very mindful that the continuity, the sustainability of the university depend on new learners, depend on senior learners coming back. We want to help you, to assist you in achieving whatever you plan to achieve.
And the university will assist those students who...
Yes, in fact, for those senior learners, if they have done well in the exam in the past semesters, we will explore giving them bursaries and so on. And if they paid their fees early for that whole semester, they are giving them 10% discount and so on. And of course, we have got a lot of centers throughout the country to make sure that it's easy for them to go and attend the tutorial session.
Okay, now speaking of learning centers all over the country, there's something new about OUM and learning centers that Prof. Mansor will share with us. But we'll take a small break. We'll come back with that new learning center, that tidbit about the new learning center after the break. So stay tuned to iRadio OUM. iRadio OUM, roaming across your mind. Thank you so much for still tuning in to iRadio OUM. Of course, the segment right now is the special interview, special session with Professor Mansor Fadzil, Professor Dr. Mansor Fadzil, our Senior Vice President in Open University Malaysia. Okay, now before the break, Prof has mentioned a little bit about learning centers. Our learning centers all over Malaysia. We have more than 60 learning centers all over Malaysia. Okay. And of course, this is one of the aspects where OUM prides itself, okay, because we always try to provide the most conducive environment for our learners to study, to thrive in, basically. So we see a lot of new learning centers opened by OUM all over Malaysia. So Prof, maybe you'd like to share with our listeners some of the development in this respect.
Thank you, Umi. As Umi rightly mentioned, we take a pride in providing conducive learning environment to our learners. In this regard, we strive to have one learning center, our own OUM learning center in every state. I'm pleased to inform the listeners that the new up-and-coming learning center will be the one in Petaling Jaya. It should be ready either September or January next year. And we plan to shift our learners from UIA PJ to this PJ Learning Center. And apart from PJ, the one in Shah Alam is already operating effective January this year. Nice, conducive, well-developed learning center. I think our student, we have shifted our student from UNICEF to Shah Alam. They are all enjoying their study there. And of course, there is one more in the Klang Valley, which is in Bangi, section 7, if I'm not mistaken. This particular learning center will be operating effective either September or January this year. Most of these learning center will be renovated, will be developed into purpose, what we call really good center with all the necessary classroom, aircon, library, meeting room, and so on. Right? And I think by having these 3 learning center in the Klang Valley, we are hoping that our learners will need not travel too far in order to go for their face-to-face tutorial session. Apart from the one in Klang Valley, there is one more coming up. This will be in Terengganu. I've visited the potential site for our learning center. We will be negotiating with the developer soon. But I think since this is a purpose-built learning center, it will take about a year to get completed. And the site that we have identified is about 5 minutes away from the center of Kuala Terengganu. And after Kuala Terengganu, we are hoping perhaps to have our own learning center in Alor. Presently, we have one in Sungai Petani, but we are of the opinion that there are more potential learners in Alor, and hence we ought to have our own learning center in Alor. Before this, we have also bought another new building in Perak. Right? So we have one building at Lim Bo Seng, and now we have one more right at the city center. And I think our learners are very pleased, very happy. We have shifted them from what we call Mara building to this new learning center. We are talking about 2 shop lot, 3 or 4 stories, and so far so good. And our observation in the past has been that those places where we have our own learning center, then our presence, the public can see our presence very clearly, and the number of learners that register, new learners, normally will increase, rising from our presence. And for our directors, it is also easier for them to do the marketing and so on, right? So the work environment is much more conducive. We can conduct our own what we call previews there, right? Basically, our learners will enjoy a good learning center, a good classroom. Our tutors also will enjoy. Normally, we make sure that there is ample parking space and so on, right? So this is part of our support services to the learners, and I think it's a very important part because we're talking about face-to-face meeting between tutors and learners.
So it instills confidence in our learners, in our current learners and our potential learners as well.
Yeah.